According to Norse mythology, Jötnar, the plural form of Jötun, were the frost giants of Norse mythology. They are the type of entity contrasted with gods, earth and Vanir's, and other inhuman figures such as dwarves and elves. The term giant is sometimes used to describe the word Jotun, but Jötnar is not always large and can be described as very beautiful or horribly grotesque. So in today's video, we are going to be talking on what are the Jötnar in Norse mythology. The terms Jotun and giant have become synonymous with mythical beings such as Ymir, Thrymr, and Skadi, but they refer to two completely different races. The giant is famous for its huge size and often has other unwanted features such as green skin and fangs. The Norse word Jotun means greed and has a very different meaning. The way Jötnar was called a giant in academia and folklore is the result of the introduction of various languages into Europe throughout its history. In Norse mythology, the Latin term giant, an Old Norman word for Titan, a Viking settled in northern France, was confused with Jotun. As a result, Jötnar were called giants. Some notable giants are certainly immeasurable, but just as not all Scandinavian giants are scary in appearance or evil in nature, size is their distinctive feature. Most Jötnars are not the same size as their sacred counterparts and have similar physical attributes. With a few exceptions, the giant would have stood right next to Thor, Odin, and Heimdall. In terms of appearance, Norse mythology describes giants as outstanding in beauty. The Asgard gods flattered and desperately sought marriage, and quite a few did. Of course, there are notable exceptions to the general rules, and some giants were certainly magnificent proportions of giants. For beginners, among the giants whose names are synonymous for Scandinavian creation is the giant Ymir. Although the frost giant is more commonly known as the giant and is commonly depicted in popular culture as a creature of the giant who is the enemy of God, the actual role of the frost giant in Norse mythology is somewhat subtle. Well, most Jötunheimr will oppose the earth gods in Asgard and will eventually fight them in the Great War in Ragnarök. Pop culture has taken extensive freedom with the inhabitants of Jötunheimr. First, clarify the misunderstandings associated with the term giant. The Old Norse Jotun, used to refer to the inhabitants of Jötunheimr, is derived from the Old Germanic word meaning eater or covet. As the language evolved over the years and English began to borrow words from other languages, the term giant became the dominant word for describing various myths, including enemies of the gods and Greek mythology became. While you might often hear the Jötnar referred to as giants or frost giants, this is hardly an inaccurate description. So, what exactly are the Jötnar? In many ways, rather than being a different type of entity than the gods of Asgard, they can be seen as a different family of the same species. Jötnar can vary in their descriptions quite a bit, as some are known for their great strengths, while others, such as Loki, are more known for their intellect. Some did resemble what we imagine giants to look like, while others were known for their incredible beauty. Many of the Jötnar are capable shapeshifters, and Loki is known for his abilities, and can also cast other tricks, such as Jötnar 𝐦𝐤𝐤𝐿. As you can see, there is no clear and simple definition of Jötnar, and their appearance and role in history can be very different. Jötnar is often regarded as an enemy of the earth gods, and is constantly striving to invade Asgard, kill the gods, and marry the goddess. Thor, the god of thunder and son of Odin, is usually the main defender of Asgard and often travels to hunt the frost giants. Many of the Jötnar are afraid of Thor and his powerful hammer, and believe that there is little they can do to stop him. However, they were clearly capable of strength and other tactics, and were able to steal Thor's hammer while he was sleeping in Asgard. Only the frost giant challenged Thor to a duel, but he was easily dispatched. However, there are many examples of the earth gods and the frost giants coexisting in some way. The earth gods and the frost giants both come from the same place. In other words, at the beginning of time, ice and fire are mixed in a large gap. Mimir is another notable Jötnar if he becomes Jotun. There is virtually no existing source of information about what Mimir is, but some believe that he is a very wise Jötunheimr because he lives in Jötunheimr. Mimir is the master of the well of Jötunheimr, under one of the roots of the Yggdrasil world tree. This well contains wisdom and intelligence, which bestows these qualities on those who drink water. This is the source of Mimir's wisdom, and Odin wanted to drink himself from this well. Mimir begged for a drink from the well and agreed, but demanded one of Odin's first eyes as a pledge. So Odin picked one eye from his head, put it in a well, and drank deeply, becoming smarter. Then, after the war between the Earth and the Vanir's, according to custom, they exchanged hostages and lived under the other tribes. The Earth gods sent Hrungnir to Vanaheim because the gods of Vanaheim considered him worthy of a chief with Mimir. They soon made Hrungnir their chief. He provided incredibly wise advice on the issues presented to him, but did not realize that Mimir was actually advising him. When Mimir wasn't with him, when Hrungnir asked a question, he could only answer, "Let someone else decide." After Hrungnir had enough opportunity to respond with this useless advice alone, Vanir believed they were fooled by the contract, so they went to Mir, decapitated him, and sent his head back to Asgard. Odin took Mimir's head, preservatively treated it with herbs, and chanted magical phrases. This gave Mimir the power to speak, and Odin often brought it to his ears for advice. Loki is a blood bond with Odin, allowing him to walk among the earth gods of Asgard and often appear in stories involving Thor and others. 𝐥𝐤𝐤 and his wife Ran are two giants who live in magnificent halls under the sea and often hold wonderful festivals for the gods. Once, Thor spent the night at Jotun's house and went fishing with him the next day, although he ended up slaughtering him along with many other Jötnar. The first giant, Ymir, created the frost giant, and the great cow created the first earth god. Odin was born of a divine frost giant relationship, and many of the Norse mythological earth gods eventually married and had children by the frost giants, including Thor himself. 𝐥𝐤𝐤 and his wife Ran are two giants who live in magnificent halls under the sea and often hold wonderful festivals for the gods. Once, Thor spent the night at Jotun's house and went fishing with him the next day, but he ended up slaughtering him along with many other giants. What do you think about Jötnar in Norse mythology? If you like this video, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends and family. Thanks for watching the video!